Jesse Livermore made $1.8 billion off a single trade.
You ever wonder what it would feel like to make $1 million off of one trade? As a young trader, I dreamed of it, and the truth led me here. Since you want a taste of my trading secrets, I'll show you my trading journey and my dog pain.
And Northern Pacific drops down to $320 per share. Even though he's right on tape, the 20-year-old Jesse Livermore is broke at $500 in debt, all because of the mistiming of his orders.
All alone in New York, with easy money in my pockets, and the belief in my heart that I was beginning to understand the new machine, but I was still sticking to the tape. That is, I was still ignoring general principles, and as long as I did that, I could not spot the exact trouble with my game.
Broken and frustrated, Livermore isn't mad at the markets. He's mad at himself. Ignoring general principles had cost him. He isn't facing the ticker, he's facing a market. He failed to factor in the broker's timing as well as the high commission rates. In an attempt to build up his capital again, Livermore asks his wife to help. He asks her to sell the expensive jewelry he had bought her. She refuses. They divorce a while after. Broken, alone in King City, he is desperate to find a quick way to pay off his debts. Livermore's armor is chipped away bit by bit. Before meeting Thomas, Livermore was short on cotton. But after a month of listening, Livermore goes long. With his judgment clouded, he continues to average down on his long position. As cotton continues to fall, he even sells his profitable wheat position to meet margin requirements in cotton. He buys more cotton as prices continue to decline, breaking his own trading rule. It doesn't take long for Livermore to realize what has happened. He sells out with $300,000 remaining, 10% of what he had only a few months ago. Livermore sells his apartment and yacht in an attempt to recoup his losses. In one bad trade, was left once again, alone and broke. But to make matters worse, this time he had a monstrous ego pressuring him to trade his way back as fast as possible.
Gradually, as I begin to accept his facts and figures, I start to fear that I had been basing my previous position on misinformation. I couldn't ignore that feeling and not take action. It cost me millions to learn that another dangerous enemy to a trader is his susceptibility to the influence of a magnetic personality when presented convincingly by a brilliant mind.
Spiraling out of control and desperate to regain his wealth, his emotions run wild. Using drinking and affairs as a coping mechanism, his trading skills are hit. His desperate trading is forcing him into a death spiral. Each trade, he feels the pressure of getting closer to blowing his account. Trading to make his losers back, high leverage bets, and averaging down. He needs to make a big win quick, or else. Livermore is broke again. His reputation as boy plunger weighing on him. He hits a cold streak. Everything he touches turns into a loser. Livermore trades himself into debt. His desperation spirals into depression as Livermore tries to retrace his steps once again. He even goes to Chicago to try his luck at bucket shops.
I've been in the speculative game ever since I was 14. It's all I've ever done. And the conclusion that I've reached after 30 years of constant trading, both on the shoestring and with millions of dollars behind me, is this. A man may beat a stock or a group at a certain time, but no man living can beat the stock market.
Looking back on his losses, it had gone to his head. Jesse Livermore realized that he had become the super sucker, breaking his own trading rules, trusting others' views, overconfidence, and impatience. The humiliation destroyed his calm composure and led to even more blunders, forcing trades and averaging down. His emotional state preventing him from doing better. A true super sucker, thinking he was above the market.
A man must know himself thoroughly if he's going to make a good job out of trading in the speculative markets. I sometimes think that no price is too high for a speculator to pay to learn that which will keep him from getting the swelled head. There's only one side of the market, and it's not the bull side or the bear side, but the right side.
While the reflection and filing for bankruptcy felt relieving, there was something missing. With no other option, Livermore returns to Williamson. He begs for another tiny stake of 500 shares. Feeling the pressure of his last chance, Livermore decides to make it one final bet. Clear price action in the line with a larger market trend. For the next 6 months, the markets stay flat. Livermore immerses himself in reading the tape, spending countless hours observing price action and memorizing market movements. He reads newspapers to form his own educated view on the general market. And that's when the beginning stages of World War I unfold. Allied and German troops clashing in a drawn-out trench war. While America vowed to stay out of it, things change in May 1915. As Germany sinks the British Lufthansa, it kills 1,200 civilians and 128 Americans without warning. This incident sparks mass debates on whether America should enter the war. Livermore sees this trade. Seeing no clear end to the war and with potential American interference looming, he anticipates a bullish cycle for American steel companies. As one of his target stocks drop, he places his final bet, going long on Bethlehem Steel, buying on the high margin at $98. As prices rise, he buys again at $115. The following day, he sells his stake at $140, securing a large profit. The next years, Livermore makes his comeback of a lifetime. Some suggest he engages in massive market manipulation in the con market, while others believe he strictly rides the bull. While the record isn't clear, one thing is certain: Livermore learns the most valuable lesson of his life as a market speculator.
Nobody can catch all the fluctuations. In a bull market, your game is to buy and hold until you believe that the bull market is near its end. To do this, you must study general conditions and not tips or special favors affecting individual stocks. One of the most helpful things that anybody can learn is to give up trying to catch the last eighth, or the first. These two are the most expensive eighths in the world.
Enjoying newfound success, Livermore starts trading a lot less. It had a huge positive impact on his performance. After a long public divorce from his wife, Nettie Jordan, Livermore finds a new love, Dorothy. Living a high society life, and after having 2 children, they buy a house in Great Neck. Here, Livermore begins his conversations with Edwin Lefree, the writer of Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. He moves into custom-designed offices in the Heckscher building on 5th Avenue, enjoying the distance from the hectic Wall Street. The grass couldn't seem greener until 1929 strikes. Consumerism. After World War I, the Western economies explode, with America leading the charge. Decadence and excess are the name of the game. The stock market flourishes as prices seem to rise without limit. Banks get more lenient on loans and allow everyday consumers way more debt. Everyday folks start playing their hands in the market. Stock trading becomes so popular that telegram services are set up to help people trade on cruises. In 1929, Livermore feels the bubble has reached its limit. With experience trading market tops, the signs are clear. True to his boy plunger name, Livermore makes a massive gamble. He shorts the entire market, as he did in 1907. He takes a huge short position against the market and sustains months of heavy losses. At one point, he's down by more than $9 million. Traumatized by his previous bankruptcy, Livermore starts doubting his call. For months, he eats red numbers. But he knew this time it was his own call. Ignoring fears, Livermore holds on. By September 1929, the bubble starts to crack. Sustained losses hit Wall Street. The volatility exploded in October, with several trading days of huge drops, one of the greatest stock market collapses in American history. In the aftermath, as the world picks up the pieces of a destroyed economy, Livermore emerges with a fortune of over $100 million. If it ends here, Livermore would have spent the rest of his life living like a king. But it doesn't. He's a gambler and a speculator at heart, which ultimately cost him everything. While 1929 was his peak performance, it also marked the end of an era. All the easy money retail traders were left scarred. The excitement of the stock market was gone. The huge inflow of liquidity was disappearing. The reality sets in, America heads towards the Great Depression, and the momentum for the last 20 years is gone, along with Livermore's passion and opportunities. The markets enter a new, ever-changing cycle. In 1932, living lavishly, his wife develops a bad habit of drinking, and Livermore had continuous affairs. His marriage comes crashing down to the tune of a $10 million divorce settlement, and even his mistress sues him. 1934 marks the start of the United States Security and Exchange Commission, illegalizing many of the trading practices that Livermore relies on. His lifestyle and trading are a train wreck. Some say he lost his fortune going long on sugar futures as the FDR put a ceiling on the sugar price. Others say he lost his fortune by going long after the crash and not getting out in time, thinking the 1929 dip would show a similar pattern he experienced in previous cycles. Yet one thing is clear: Livermore is no longer flexible enough to go along with the ever-changing cycle. He failed to speculate the creation of the SEC and the impact of the FDR on the boom and bust cycle. By the end of the same year, his huge fortune is gone, and he declares bankruptcy for the final time. Livermore becomes a symbol of all that is wrong on Wall Street, and as his wealth disappears, so does his remaining prestige. Livermore marries a socialite and American singer, Harriet Metz. 4 times widowed, she had enough money to support their lifestyle. As he heads towards another bankruptcy, he and his wife sail to Europe, hoping to relieve his mind of some of his troubles and to make another comeback. But Livermore never quite does. The dark demon of his depression hangs over his head, and with his wife's finances, he had lost his drive. He felt like a failure. And in 1940, at the Sherry Netherland Hotel in New York, Livermore ends things himself.